folks, welcome back to another segment of Veterans Did You Know? Dave Eling with the County Department of Veterans Affairs, and I'm today here with Wes Spyke. And Wes and I were, you've got to go back and watch the rest of these segments and get up to speed where we are here today, because I think it's pretty entertaining and it's some good information. And we were talking about the spiritual side of the healing process of a post-traumatic stress, especially with many of the vets that we're dealing with. And these kids coming back today, and we call them kids because they are. They're our children. They're young enough to be our children. And as the old warriors, if you will, that have been through that and grappled with this stuff, and we're trying to make it easier for the younger generation to get the help that they need. And the post-traumatic stress has always been a tough one. But and we got some things on the horizon. You know, you and I talked about you and Lil's ministry. You go out in the summertime to the different campsites.
Yes, different campgrounds, mostly state campgrounds.
Okay. And then you and I talked about if there's an interest out there, if there's veterans out there that want to get a hold of you. For number one, they want to just sit down and talk to you because you're a pretty likable guy. And you know, he had his full beard. He's a dead ringer for Santa Claus. I mean, he just had those little glasses on there.
I'm gonna have to get that back.
Yeah, he was into it. You'll go in and talk to him. Next thing you know, you're pouring your heart out to him. And he's saying, "Okay, that's about enough of that." Even Santa can only take so much. But if they wanted to hook up with you, Wes, what's the best way to do that?
Well, we have the ministry is called Common Ground Missions. You can get a hold of us, we're in the phone book under Wes and Lillian Spyke. The number is 231-798-4112, or you can get a hold of us at mosshammond@comcast.net. So,
or through me,
or through the vet center here. Dave and I, he's got my cell phone, everything, up to and including the code to my shot collar.
That's right. I can always bring it back to reality. Yeah. But we've been talking about if the desire is there of veterans who want to retouch with their spiritual side, or just have that counseling, or bring their spouse in. In a more relaxed atmosphere, or hey, can I bring my wife along and can let them talk to you guys and your wives, because obviously you guys have got something here that you've worked through. And again, I'm a third mom. I'm my third married myself, but we finally we either wise up, we get a hold of it, or it works out. So anyway, if you're interested and you'd like to, just get a hold of us. The number is across the screen there, the Vet Service Center. And we would have meetings down here. We talked about having a support group down here, and the families are included.
And a lot of times we can even, if it's in the summertime, we have the campground ministry, and we can even let you know where we're going to be, and we can invite them out and sit down for hot dogs, hamburgers, or whatever in a time of intercessory prayer at times, and if you just want to talk, there's someone there to talk to, and I got a wonderful wife with that, because she's been through this whole thing.
Yes. She's earned her stripes.
Oh,
she's
my
earned
goodness.
Her medals.
Yeah, I mean, she's got that firefight ribbon, trust me. But Lil's a great gal. I don't think there's anything that shocks her anymore. Anymore.
Yeah. She's pretty much heard it all.
She's pretty much heard it all, been there, done that. She's been around the block too, and she just has this natural ability to listen to people. And she does sympathize with the women, and not that she doesn't with the vets, but she doesn't know really what they've seen and what they've done and all that business. I pretty much have, but she can pretty much relate to over the years that there are just some things that.
Well, if you've lived with the vets, then you're exposed to it, so you get that, you rub off, and maybe to the extent, because as a male, alpha male, with the post-traumatic stress acted out, it's the spouse. You act out to the one that's closest to you, and unfortunately the spouse takes the run. And sometimes it goes over to physical, unintentional. The guy will be having a nightmare or being flashbacked, or whatever the case may be, and the next thing you know, you think you've got the enemy there, and you wake up and it's not the enemy, it's your spouse. And how many marriages have we known that have just been saying, I can't handle this anymore.
Oh, in the anger. They
totally love each other. But this is that issue is so powerful, so the vet just feels like a failure because I destroyed another marriage and I'll never do this.
Or gone through another job. Or,
yeah, exactly. Or I'll walk away from another good job because I couldn't hold.
And they always seem like they're starting over. Yeah. And that's mine. We're always starting over. We're starting over with a job, or we're starting over with my spouse, or we're starting over another relationship, or I'm starting over with my kids, or whatever that business. The thing that I'm really concerned about, particularly today, is, and you and I have talked about this, with the veterans that are Afghani veterans and Iraq veterans being female. coming back in the pecking order. Maybe their
Household.
husband didn't go over there, in the household pecking order. Well, I'm not going to pick on the alpha male. Who am I going to pick on? Well, the next ones in line are the
The
kids.
children, yeah. And this is a dynamic that there's never been. This is a whole new ballgame we're having. Like I said, Vietnam, we had a few female nurses who were post-traumatic
Yes.
stresses because of what they were exposed to, but you didn't have this combat experienced. I mean,
Sure.
hard-on, hardcore combat experience coming back and not acting out, and they're in for a rough road. They are in for a rough road, and the VA is just finally getting up to speed. Again, and realizing that you've got the dynamics of the family, you have to bring the whole family in here. But again, it's the spiritual aspect of your life that sometimes gets dusted off and pushed away or covered up or turned your back on it because you're ashamed or whatever the case may be, and it's hard to reach out sometimes.
And there are pastors, Dave, that really don't understand what's going on because they haven't
They're
been
afraid
there.
of it, yeah.
They're afraid of it. They don't know how to handle that, and people within the church, and I need to make an apology for that, that people within the church body itself maybe have pushed us away or they're afraid.
Yeah.
They don't know quite how to handle this individual, and there's talking, well, gee, this guy's been to so-and-so and he's done this and all that business, but they're human beings.
But he seems like such a nice guy if you're just looking at him.
Yeah. We are nice guys when you look at us,
Well, and I think that's from the uncomfortableness of how do I help you? How do I, if that's bleeding, okay, I can get it covered up, or I get a Band-Aid on it, or get you to a doctor, get it stitched up. But what do I do about this?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I don't, and so I don't want to give you the wrong information, so people turn away from us.
The best therapy that I ran into doing this is talking to other veterans about it and being frank about it. You can't beat around the bush with this. It's. I don't expect you to go on out there and wave a flag. Well, geez, I blew 4 people away and all this stuff and all that business. But in a heartfelt, intelligent conversation, we're going to interface with one another. It may not be the first meeting or the second meeting or even the third or whatever, because it's like going in the hospital with a Bible and thumping them on the head,
Yeah.
and they're not going to tell you about their spirituality. That's something that's very, very personal. It's something that you need to build this friendship, this trust.
Yeah.
Are you going to run back and tell everybody, what I did or who I am or how I think?
It's just like the confessional. Is that how that works? It stays with me. Your approach is what's refreshing and nice and secure is that it's a fellow vet to a vet who just happens to. I could be a Muslim, or I could Buddha, or I could believe in anything or nothing. No, I'd be an atheist. But you know what? We can still connect on this level.
We can still connect
and then
on this level.
If we want to take it to here, we'll take it to here. Or if that's bothering you, or you think that's missing, then.
And by the way, I don't have any problem, dealing with Muslims or anything. I have absolutely no problem with that at all. They just need to know that I'm a minister of the gospel of Christ.
Yeah.
Now, can I help you at this level? Well, I don't know, but I'll certainly try because I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, we get what got you in the first place.
Exactly.
All right, we get to take another quick break, and we'll be back to wrap this up in just a few minutes. Stay with us, please. Thank you.